Hey, what is up guys, my name is Mihabratu and welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. In today's video, I'm actually going to do what one of my viewers suggested. I'm going to be comparing the iPhone 4S running iOS 5 versus the iPhone 4S running iOS 6. The iPhone 4S, of course, debuted in 2011, coming in the capacity of 8, 16, 32, and 64 gigabytes. It came in black and white colors, and the model was either A1431 or, as I have here, A1387. Of course, you can definitely see on the back of the phone. It is a glass back and it is actually a beautiful design with stainless steel borders as we see today on the iPhone 10. So of course, this is the actual model number. Search it up if you don't believe me that it's an iPhone 4S. But anyways, in this video, we're actually going to be comparing the core apps, more or less the everyday tasks and usage of this phone. And I really do hope you enjoyed this video. It was really fun to make. But without further ado, let's get into it. So on to the test. Now, since this iPhone 4S is of course running iOS 5.1.1 dual booted, I will not be able to do the startup sequence, but of course I'm going to go into settings just to clarify that these are on the iOS versions I am talking about. So if we go into general and about, we can scroll down and see that this is running of course iOS 5.1.1, as this one is running iOS 6.1.3. Now we could also see that this one is a 16 gig model, so you will get 13 gigs of storage, whereas this one you do get only 3.7, as that was like the max I could partition at the moment. So without further ado guys, we're gonna get into the actual core apps of the devices. These of course are not set up, these are like blank. For example, messages have no messages on it, the phone has no contacts. The app store of course is an app based app, so that will take a little longer to load. So we're going to start with the core apps. The main app that people are going to be using is the camera, so let us launch the camera app and see which one actually launches first. So here we go, and it seems iOS 6 actually launched first on this. Now we're going to launch the messages app, and iOS 6 seems to go faster there too. Let's see the calendar, and they seem to be similar enough. Let's try photos, and they are the same. Even if this one had a few pictures, they were the same. Let's go to videos. I have no videos loaded on them, so that's fair game. So yeah, we have a faster load time on iOS 5. Now let's go to weather. I feel iOS 6 was a little faster in that department, but let's go to the notes. No, they were pretty close, neck and neck, I think. And let us go reminders. Same deal here. Clock. That one wasn't on the same page, so I will have to clear the apps and actually redo that one again. But let's try the clock again. And they were definitely the same. So there are no slowdowns on iOS 6 whatsoever, which actually is incredible considering that every time Apple released the software on the 4S, it really slowed it down. So iOS 6 was the only one that actually fairly optimized it, or was the same. So I'm pretty shocked with that. But let's try newsstand. They open fairly close, I think. Yeah, they're the same. Now I'm gonna try a web-based application, which of course is iTunes and the App Store. First, we're going to go with iTunes and see which one does load first. So we're jumping into iTunes, and fair enough, iOS 5 does seem to load it first. However, since it's so outdated, it's not able to display the ads on top. But of course, you can see that it does load fairly fast, and you have everything here from new releases to top 10s, charts. It's organized a little differently, but you have it there. So of course, moving on to another web-based app, we do have the App Store. The App Store of course is going to be launched in 3, 2, 1, And let's see here. These are connected on the same Wi-Fi, and don't get it twisted. We have the little bars up there because this is of course a Verizon phone, and it also always searches for signal regardless of whether you're connected or not. So they seem pretty similar, although once again they cannot display the actual ads up here, but you do have the similar visualization on the bottom. You have different tabs and whatnot. However, when you search up an app, that's when it actually changes. So let's search up Snapchat since it's already searched up there, and let's search up Snapchat. And you'll be able to see that this one has the old-timely scroll down to see, whereas this one has a different visual representation. This is more of like iOS 7, 8, I don't know about 9, but yeah, this is definitely different than what we have here. iOS 11 kind of combines this. You have a scroll down view, but with a actual preview. So moving on, we're gonna go to the phone app and see how that launches. And once again, it is pretty similar. I'm gonna do that again as it wasn't on the same page, but here we are. Phone, it's definitely the same time, the same speed. Then we're gonna launch settings. And settings seems to keep its cache better on this one. It was actually launched off the last page I was on. So let us do that one more time, clearing it once again. And let's go, 1, 2, 3. And they are definitely the same. So one more time. Now we're gonna go onto music. So seems fair to me. Personally, I think that was the same speed. There are different subtle interface changes, as you can see, and at the top you do have a little black bar for the status, whereas this one blends in with the interface. So that's something to keep note of. Nothing to interfere with the speed of the phone, but just something I like to point out. So one more time, music. Oh, and now we could see that iOS 6 was a little faster. So let's do the cover flow test. And seems to have a little bit of a tough time. Let me see if I rotate them at the same time. Yeah, this one seems to be a little more delayed. Let me do that in the frame a little more. Yes, iOS 5 seems to have a delay with cover flow, as you guys can see. But besides that, it's pretty fast. Let's try multitasking. And scrolling seems fine. Notification center. A little faster on iOS 5 for some reason. Let's try that again. Okay, similar results. Now let's try a web page search. I will go here into Safari and actually clear all the browsing history and the cookies and data just so I have a really even representation. So I'm gonna actually clear everything out here and get the test started. So starting off, the main thing we want to test is actually the launching of Safari. So we're going to launch Safari in 3, 2, 1. Alright, and now we're going to go to the bookmarks and head to the Apple store. The Apple website. 3, 2, 1. And seems like iOS 6 is a little ahead. But they're fairly similar. I can't say that one of them is faster than the other. They seem to load different aspects of the page before the other, but let's do a quick reload. And I guess the reload didn't want to work on this, so let's try that again. Okay, and it crashed on iOS 5. So definitely iOS 6 has a more optimized Safari experience than iOS 5. That's something we know for sure. The one more thing I want to test out is obviously YouTube. So let's launch YouTube in 3, 2, 1. Now the main reason I don't want to do any other stock apps, the other reason I don't want to do any more third-party apps is because of that. This YouTube is fairly more simpler than the newer one, meaning it is way lighter on the phone, which of course isn't fair considering the fact that as new app versions appear, it does change with time. It's kind of like a software update. It'd be like me comparing the iOS 5 versus iOS 9 and calling it evens. It's not how it works. So that's where I draw the line, but I wanted to throw in YouTube because that is an app that many people use, and more or less that's about it. I'm just going to test the folder speed and let's see. Folder speed seems to be quite on par. pretty much similar. But yeah, guys, that is it. One more test I always forget to do is, of course, a Siri test. I barely remember right now, so let us give it a try. Siri, what's the weather today?
Okay, here's the forecast for today.
So pretty similar, although this one is set in Celsius, this one's set in Fahrenheit, they still seem to give me the same results. When is the next WWDC?
Apple's 2018 Worldwide Developers Conference will be held at the McHenry Convention Center in San Jose, California, from June 4th through June 8th.
So it seems that iOS 5 actually did not want to respond to this question, unless, of course, I wait here, maybe it's gonna ask it. But of course, I asked it the same question, and that's a pretty surprising answer. So you can, of course, change the text and ask it again. So I'm gonna try that. So of course, it seems it's not working. Let me add a question mark. Yep, it doesn't want to ask that. So iOS 6 is obviously smarter. This was the first version of Siri, but that's literally about it. Let me try one more test. What's the time in Bucharest, Romania?
In Bucharest, Romania is 9:52 p.m.
So this one seemed to bring it up faster, but this one spoke quicker. But of course, that is nothing to be afraid of. These iOSs are fairly similar. I don't see any slowdowns, any major differences. The most difference I've seen is in the App Store, iTunes, and the lack of YouTube and the inclusion of Apple Maps. But of course, that is just small features that you're going to have to live with. Otherwise, the speed and performance did not get downgraded with the iOS 6 update. If anything, it got better in some aspects. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really did hope you enjoy. And if you guys still aren't positive that these are 4S's, I did show the model number at the beginning of the video, but I will show them again here. So you guys feast your eyes. That's one of them, and that's, of course, if it focuses, okay, that's the second one. So search it up if you don't believe me. But anyways, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.